Hi, I'm Jane Brady, chair of the Delaware Republican Party, and today we have with us Matt Morris, who's running for the United States House of Representatives. Hello there, Matt.
Hi, Jane. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for your time today and allowing me to be able to get the delegates to get familiar with me. A little bit of a background about myself. I grew up right here in Claymont, Delaware. I am a Mount Pleasant High School graduate. I studied biology at Delaware County Community College, and I have 13 years working as an ophthalmic technician in ophthalmology. So I have a background in healthcare. I also have a lifelong background in business acumen. I currently work in sales management full-time, and during my free time, I have served as co-chair for a community organization, a grassroots organization that has been put together to offset and reduce the overdose rates in the state of Delaware by distributing naloxone to the community during heightened events that have been identified by the Division of Public Health.
Tell us, Matt, what are the important issues that have motivated you to run for the United States House of Representatives?
The career politicians like Lisa Blunt Rochester, Chris Coons, and Tom Carper have continued to sell America out. They are diminishing the American dream, not only for Americans, but also for our immigrants.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about your feelings about the opioid crisis, how you intend to try and address that.
In addressing the opioid crisis, I can bring firsthand experience with my 5 years of recovery to Washington. I understand what works for me and what also works for many other people. I understand that treatment begins with getting down to the why, and not always just medication-assisted treatment that our state and other states keep on pushing onto people who are seeking help.
My understanding is there's legislation that's been pending to address this issue in Congress.
Yes. In fact, there are multiple House resolutions that have been sitting, and Lisa Blunt Rochester sits on all of those committees. Not only are these House resolutions there to provide funding for states like our own that are continuing to rise in overdose deaths, but also anti-discrimination clauses that will provide all people with the proper treatment that they deserve. And unlike Lisa Blunt Rochester, I will not sit on legislations, but I will make sure that Delaware is receiving the proper funding that they need for adequate long-term treatment options. I will help move legislations through to provide funding for the state of Delaware so they are no longer left behind and continuing to rise in overdose rates. I want to flatten the curve in the overdose rates in our state of...
How about you mentioned prison reform. What kinds of issues are you trying to address there?
Well, yes, Jane. So in my prison reform platform, I do believe that prison reform doesn't just start within the Department of Corrections and the Department of Justice, but I wholeheartedly believe that it starts in our communities.
Okay. What kinds of issues do you think would be in that reform? Are you focused on rehabilitation, reducing recidivism? What kinds of issues are you focused on?
So what I'm proposing is to bring forth a bill that is going to not only involve programming and treatment in our facilities, but also a comprehensive re-entry program, as well as resources that enable pro-social behaviors within our communities and within our schools to help prevent antisocial behaviors that lead to criminality. I believe that providing the adequate resources to reduce recidivism rates will get our men and women out of our prisons, off of the streets, and back into the economy. Democrats have continued to oppress our economically challenged communities, and it's time that we start providing them with adequate resources that will not only get them off the streets and into work, but keep them contributing back to society as they should. I do believe that anyone who is willing to work hard for a second chance absolutely deserves it. I mean, if you look at me, myself, I have worked tirelessly over the past 3 years. Not only did I come home from prison and hit the ground running, but I also hadn't given up on my dreams and aspirations. And now I can say that I'm running for Congress.
Okay, great. Now, we're going to be putting this out on social media, but we're also going to be sending it to the delegates and alternates to the Republican State Convention so they can know a little more about you. What would you like to specifically address to the delegates?
Jane, thank you so much for your time today. And delegates, if I am chosen as your U.S. House candidate, I will turn my focus to all Delawareans and deliver a relatable and populist platform that all Delawareans cannot say no to. And then when I am in Washington, I will stand up against the corruption and I will work with our president to drain the swamp of corrupt politicians to make America great again. Thank you for your time today, and God bless America.